Hello YouTube people, thanks for tuning in. Berrlett here, and you are watching my review of Days Gone. The latest Sony exclusive came out on the 26th of April 2019, so about 2-3 days ago, the time of the recording of this video, and I actually did manage to get my hands on it 24 hours before release and just finished the campaign. The game was developed by Sony's Bend Studio and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment exclusively for the PS4. For this review, I will be covering 5 different sections. I'll be talking gameplay, game story and narrative, character development and upgrades. I will also cover the graphics and resolution, and we'll end the video with glitch management. So let's talk Days Gone gameplay. Every time I want to say something about the gameplay of Days Gone, I get to the same conclusion. That's probably because of my impression of the gameplay of Days Gone, which is positive. By gameplay I mean the character handling, the weapon handling, the interaction with the world, the interaction with the people around you, friends, enemies, and so on. For me, the game doesn't bring anything new to the table, but it gets the job done. It gets you through missions, it gets you through the story without any problems. So that's why my impression of the gameplay of the game is absolutely positive. Let's be honest about it. I was reading yesterday, someone was mentioning the bike experience and how it wasn't fully optimized for the game, especially early on. I didn't notice anything different or anything special. The game doesn't ask you to perform challenging maneuvers on your bike, swerving around sharp corners or jumping long distance or anything like, especially early on in the game. There's absolutely nothing about, as you probably might have noticed, the game protagonist is a drifter, he's a biker, so you'll be spending a fair amount of time of the game on your bike to travel through the world. Gameplay for me is positive, there's absolutely no doubt about that. Story and narrative. Now this is for me where the game starts heading a bit downhill. There are a couple of questions that need answers. Is the game a cliche? Yes, it's a cliche. Even if you're a casual gamer, you've seen the setting before, you've played similar games before, survival, horror survival setting, post-apocalyptic world, gone absolutely kaput, and you're thrown into the map. There are only few camps scattered all over the place. You can go there to fresh up, clean up, stack up, and go back to the world, kill freakers, talk to people, and complete missions. It's the same formula, nothing that you've never seen before. Yes, it's a cliche, I agree. It's been chewed on so many times at this stage, and that's evident. The second thing you want to consider is this cliche. So Days Gone cliche in its own right a good game? Yes, it is. Is it worth your time? Yes, absolutely yes. As I said, it doesn't bring anything new to the table, especially compared to Sony first party. See, what Sony does is that basically they create a world, or at least that's what they try to do. They create a world, they throw in couple of characters and inject this rich drama, scenes and dialogues, and you know, to get the players, get the gamers emotionally connected to these characters, and consequently to the game. We've seen this with Joel and Ellie, we've seen it with Kratos and his son, we've seen it with Nathan Drake and his wife, his girlfriend, etc. Days Gone does attempt to get around this type of drama development. It falls short compared to these great titles we just mentioned, you know, the other Sony first party exclusives. It does fall short, but again, for me, it shouldn't be compared to these games. It's good in its own right, even if the story, well, there is a story. You got the main protagonist who's separated from his loved one early on in the game. He ends up with his friend, and there is this sort of, you know, the dialogues, the emotional, even the facial expressions of the characters at the time of these scenes, of these dialogues, it does that. It doesn't, kind of capture you. It's not that captivating as you've had it in previous Sony titles. In its own right, for me, it's satisfactory, just because of that cliche setting. I'm going to talk about development and upgrades. The game does not reinvent the wheel, so it borrows from different games. Basically, it's the same formula. You have the character, you work on his abilities. You can enhance his speed, his power, his strength, his stamina, his instinct, and so on, to help you complete missions easier. It's nothing. It's the same probably formula that you've seen in other games. It works in other games. It works fine here. It gets the job done. The upgrades, and specifically in this game you have the bike upgrade. I felt that was fresh. I absolutely loved the bike upgrades, and you feel at times the game encourages you. It wants you to upgrade, to work on your bike, and you're given time, resources, and obviously the places on the map where you can, with the mechanics, where you can work on your bike, and you can improve the engine, you can improve your speed, you can improve your tire tractions, you can improve color, looks, anything you want on your bike, and I felt that was excellent. That was a great idea. I absolutely love that. For the development and the upgrades, for me, it's good to very good. Graphics and resolution. I thought twice before actually deciding talking about the graphics and resolutions. And the thing is, like, what made me talk about this point is because other critics took it against the game. Me, usually, I don't really judge the game, especially if the game is 2-3 days old. Yes, there are frame rate drops at times. I've seen critics taken a lot of points against it, and I felt it's quite necessary to talk about. Scenes where you have, for example, if you've seen the trailer, where the scene around the train, how the hordes and the thousands of freakers, they're called here, chasing you, and the scene is full of movement and rich in color and commotion, etc. Yes, there are drop of frame rates, and at times it's noticeable. Here I'm playing on PS4 Pro. Again, as I said, I don't actually look at it as something absolutely vital, and I don't think casual gamers should look into that as something that's absolutely vital. Otherwise, there are plenty of games. You probably remember there are a lot of games that come out and destroyed by major critic houses for the frame rate drops, and the game runs at 1080p generally overall. But again, there are games that come out literally broken, and they get fixed over time, and they have huge following here. So I don't tend to look, sort of really with keen eye on the graphics when the game is only 2-3 days old. For the casual gamers, I don't know if you're going to notice that, probably, but there is sort of graphical inferiority compared to other Sony titles at this stage of the game. That's my take on the graphics and the resolution. For me, it's probably satisfactory, maybe slightly below satisfactory, but again, it's nothing really vital to me. The glitch management of the game, again, couple of questions. First being, is the game clean? No. You will face scenarios where the stealth doesn't work, or you have a dude walking through the wall. It happened to me. I was trying to stealth a guy, and then I walked behind him, and he literally walked through the wall and ended up facing me, and it didn't work. You wouldn't have that if you play the game now. The other thing that you want to consider in spite of that, is the game playable? Can you play the campaign from A to Z? Yes, absolutely, you can beat it from A to Z without any problems. And that's why I say, when the game is 2-3 days old, hey, give it the benefit of the doubt. Try it out. It's a pleasant experience. I don't actually look at these, with such keen eyes. I went through the campaign. The game maybe froze a couple of times. No showstoppers for me, and I managed to finish it. For the bug and the glitch management of the game, probably again below satisfactory, let's say. But overall, because of the gameplay, because of the positive side of the story, because of the the development and the upgrades of the characters and the bike, for example, the game absolutely gets my 8 out of 10 without any doubt. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to this channel and hit that bell so you're notified of all the content we drop. Thanks and bye. Ciao.